Good morning. It's Tuesday, March 19th, and Mike Pence is in the news. And he's in the news because he has come out and refused to endorse Donald Trump for the president. Now, I don't know why they considered that a bombshell announcement, because Mike Pence took his life in his own hands on January 6th when he refused President Trump's orders to not certify the election. Mike Pence stood up for our Constitution. And only about a year and a half or so ago, he was still endorsing President Trump, ex-President Trump, to run for re-election. But now he has completely reversed that decision, recognizing that that decision was a very poor choice. So he was the presidential candidate. In my mind, he probably should have stayed in the race, because he's a man of character. Not that I agree with his character, but he is a man of character. He stands by what he believes in. And in his, as I said before, in the first presidential debate last year, he pledged to endorse Trump. But he has come now to the conclusion that he can no longer in good conscience support the person who was his running mate. And obviously, it's a tough choice for Pence to make because he's a staunch Republican. And he's a loyal guy, and he's a really, really very religious man. So for him to change his mind like this and openly tell the public that he will not endorse Trump, it's a big deal in his life. Even though his decisions seem to be a little bit too bland for the current situation. He said he disagreed with Trump for walking away from our commitment to confronting the national debt. Is that a reason to not want people to vote for him? There are many more serious reasons than that. So Pence, while he has removed his endorsement of Trump from the public view, and I don't know that much of the public has seen this article yet, but I don't know why he's shying away from a commitment to the sanctity of human life, so to speak. Pence also went on to talk about Trump's position on China, a position which he has seemed to change. He's shying away from the commitment of sanctity of human life. He's not getting tough on China, and he's not supporting our administration's effort to force a sale of ByteDance's TikTok. You know, that's the very popular social media network that many of our young people use to communicate with each other and to communicate with the outside world. And right now, we are battling with China to own our version of ByteDance. It's a serious problem when you can have a social network that covers millions of people in the hands of a dictatorship, allowing them to possibly use that information to the detriment of the United States and other societies that see the world differently than they do. So ByteDance is a big issue, and Trump's reversal of his stand on that issue is not good. So Pence has done the hard part. He's broken away from Trump, and he's speaking publicly against the former president. But he needs to be tougher. He needs to hammer home his experience instead of watering down his message with policy differences. He should stand up there and tell the world how he and his family suffered through the J6 attack, and how his family was put in danger because of Trump's activity on J6. Now, Pence has repeatedly slammed Trump's efforts to pressure him to wrongly block the certification of Joe Biden's election victory on January 6th. And Trump is now facing charges of conspiracy and obstruction in the election interference case as a result of his efforts to remain in the White House following his 2020 loss. And of course, Trump hated Pence for his actions, and he denies any wrongdoing with respect to J6. But that doesn't absolve him from what he actually did. When Pence announced his run for president in June of 2023, he told the voters what had happened on January 6th with a great deal of passion. He said the American people deserve to know on that day President Trump also demanded that I choose between him and the Constitution. And I chose the Constitution, and I always will choose the Constitution. So why wasn't Pence really considered a presidential candidate if he was able to step up and state all these things? Do you think that the possibility of him being so anti-Trump cost him to lose his election run to the likes of Nikki Haley? He said the American people deserve to know that President Trump and his advisors asked me to reject the votes, to overturn the 2020 election, to overturn the votes of the people in this country. And I couldn't do that. And if he can say things like that, why isn't he still in the presidential race? Is he too meek-mannered? Does he not come across as a tough guy? Has he backed down too often in the face of Trump to make a decent candidate out of himself? That's possibly true. But Pence didn't take advantage of the fact that he could tell the stories about how Trump's actions led to putting Trump and his family's life at risk. Why didn't Trump tell the public point blank some of the things that he said at the Gridiron and Club dinner when he said Trump was wrong and I had no right to overturn the election? Why did he not make that a big campaign issue for himself? Instead, he mild-manneredly slid around and ended up on the floor. So I think that Pence could have been a good candidate. I tell you, I wouldn't vote for him. But he could have been a good candidate if he had stepped to the plate and taken Trump on face to face and not pussyfooted around the situation that he was in on J6. So I leave you with that. Stuck with Donald Trump again. Have a great day. Bye.